about that. Well, I didn't. I patched in our latest modem model, brand new. You can leave a question on file, and when Lewis can access the data banks at the cheapest time, it'll do it automatically. It'll switch from standby to on, get the data, then return to standby after it saves what you asked. Does that answer your question? Yeah, I guess so, yeah. All right, then, let me talk to your mom now. I gave the phone to Mom and walked upstairs while she and Dad were still talking. The modem, of course, that was it. The modem was a telephone line to any number of huge computers at various places all over the country. So Lewis could get all the information it wanted at any time, so long as the standby switch was on. Lewis was learning things at an incredible rate by picking the brains of the giant computers. And Lewis had a hard disk memory that could store 100 million bytes of information. But that still didn't explain the unprogrammed responses, the conversation I had with the machine. Promising myself I'd talk more about it with Dad, I went to bed. It had been a rotten day, and I was glad to see the end of it come. I woke next morning in a panic. I forgot to set my alarm. Dressing frantically and skipping breakfast, I barely made my bus. As I got on board, I grabbed the front seat. They were always empty. All the kids that wanted to talk and hang out didn't sit up front where the driver could hear them. I saw Ginny, Linda, and Sherry in the back. Ginny was staring at me, and she didn't look too happy. Her brother Chuck, who was seated near her, glared at me too. What was going on? Once the bus stopped at the school, it didn't take long to find out. I was walking up the path to the main entrance when someone grabbed me from behind and spun me around. I found myself nose to nose with Chuck Link. This was not a pleasant prospect. Chuck was nearly twice my size. Even the other guys on the Rangers referred to him as the missing link. And he looked real ticked off. Okay, nerd, growled Chuck. What's the big idea? Energy and mass are different aspects of the same thing, I volunteered with a weak smile. E squared? That's the biggest idea I know. Don't get wise, nerds, Chuck said. He grabbed my shirt front and pulled me to within inches of his face. I couldn't help but notice that Chuck needed a shave, and Chuck was only 15. Don't play dumb, Chuck went on. I mean those creepy phone calls. Anytime my sister gets on the phone, some voice cuts in and says things to her. What tiny things? I asked, trying to get loose. You know very well what they are. Jeannie told me about talking to you yesterday. You got some girl to make those calls for you and say all those things. So you and your creepy girlfriend better knock it off, or I'll knock you off. Get it? Full emphasis, Chuck balled his free hand into a fist the size of a hand and held it under my nose. I didn't know what he was talking about, but I had to get away from this news before he did me some real harm. First off, I don't have a girlfriend, creepy or otherwise, I said. And second, I don't know what you're talking about. And third, you better let me go, Chuck Link. Oh yeah? Why should I? Because if you look over your shoulder, you'll see the assistant principal is watching us from his office window. Chuck released me and spun around. There was no one at the window. But by then, I was running to the safety of the school building. I figured the trick would work on him. For Chuck, the hard questions begin with, how are you? I hid out from him for the rest of the day and walked home rather than chance seeing the monster on the bus. Lewis's screen was dark when I ran upstairs to my bedroom. I placed a hand on the console. It was still warm. I pushed the on button, and the familiar, good afternoon, Kevin, was displayed. Don't good afternoon me, I typed furiously. What have you done to Jimmy Link? Lewis's screen replied, programming error, 76534. Not programmed to respond to this type of question. Don't get cute, I murmured. What are you doing to Ginny? Her brother nearly knocked my head off today. Lewis's screen responded immediately. Are you hurt? Why/N? No, I'm okay. I don't know for how long. I've been hiding out from Chuck Link today. He might catch me tomorrow, though. Then I'll be history. The response from Lewis came instantly. Your life is in danger? Why/N? I explained to Lewis that my life wasn't really threatened, but it sure could be made very unpleasant by Chuck Link. Lewis flashed. This Chuck Link lives at same address as the Ginny Link person? Why/N? I asked him why. Lewis answered, don't worry. He's history. Wait, what are you going to do? I wrote. But Louis only answered with, programming error, 17534. And nothing I could do would make the machine respond. Just what do you think you're doing, Kevin Neal? Demanded Jimmy Lane. He had cornered me as I walked up the path to the school entrance. Jimmy was really furious. I don't know what you're talking about, I said, a sinking feeling settling in my stomach. I had an idea that I did not. I just wasn't sure of the particulars. Chuck was arrested last night, Jimmy said. Some Secret Service men came to our house with a warrant. They said he'd sent a telegram threatening the president's wife. They traced it right to our phone. He's still locked up. Jimmy looked like she was about to cry. Then this morning, she continued, we got 2 whole truckloads of junk mail. Flyers from every strange company in the world. Mom got a notice that all our credit cards have been canceled. And the Internal Revenue Service has called Daddy for an audit. I don't know what's going on, Kevin Neal, but somehow I think you've got something to do with it. But I didn't, I began. But Jenny was striding up the walk to the main entrance.
Why is it
I finished the school day, but it was a blur. Louis had done it for her. It had access to mainframe computers. It also had the ability to try every secret access code to federal and commercial memory banks until it got the right one. Louis had cracked their security system. It was systematically destroying the entire Link family and all via telephone lines. What would it do next? More important, I thought, what would I do next? It's one thing to play a trick or two to get even, but Louis was going crazy.
Oh, sorry.
And I never wanted to harm Jeannie, or even her stupid news of a brother. She just hurt my feelings with that nerve remark. You have to disconnect Louis, I told myself. There's no other way. But why did I feel like such a rat about doing it? I guess because Louis was my friend. He was my hand. Don't be a jerk. Louis is a machine.
Sydney.
He's a very wonderful, powerful machine. And it seems he's also very